Well, an Italian court has convicted 23 Americans of abducting an Egyptian terror suspect from Milan 6 years ago under the CIA's so-called extraordinary rendition program. The man was taken to Egypt, where he was allegedly tortured. For more on this case and its significance, let's now cross live to Priya Schreeder, who's in our Washington studio. Hello, Priya. So why is this case a landmark case?
Hi.
Priya.
Hi there, Kelly. So one of the interesting things is that Amnesty International said that the United States shouldn't need a foreign court to distinguish what's right from wrong. So now many people are wondering if this case will set a precedent for the Obama administration to investigate and prosecute other members of the Extraordinary Renditions Program. And joining me to help discuss this is RT contributor and investigative journalist Wayne Madsen. Wayne, thanks so much for joining me. So first of all, was this verdict a surprise to you at all?
Not really. This was an ongoing investigation. The 23 Americans who were found guilty and were sentenced to some time in prison, the former CIA station chief, Seldon Lady, station chief in Milan, 8 years. All the others, 22 others, 5 years in prison. They ranged from diplomats to members of the U.S. military to the CIA station chief in this case. No real surprise. This has been an ongoing case. So I think we'll have to see now if the Interpol red notices go out, the arrest warrants, and which countries will cooperate with the authorities to take these people into custody.
And how is the American government reacting to this verdict? And do you think there's potential for the Obama administration to prosecute and investigate other members of the Extraordinary Renditions Program now that this verdict is out there?
If what we see so far from the Obama administration plays out, Obama will defend the CIA. He's done it in the past. I think we will not see any cooperation between the Obama administration, the Department of Justice under Eric Holder, and the Italian authorities and turning these individuals over to Italian custody and imprisonment. The record just doesn't show that so far with Obama. He's been very acquiescent to all the desires of the CIA so far.
And I want to talk about the defendants for a second. I know that some of those CIA agents made an argument that they were just doing what they were told. What do you make of that?
Well, this gets into the Nuremberg defense. They were just following orders. Obviously, Europe, the European system of civil rights and political rights is at great variance to the United States. And this imam who was abducted off the streets of Milan is taking his case to the European Court of Human Rights, and we'll see whether they, in addition to the Italian authorities, sanction these individuals for this extraordinary rendition kidnapping.
And what do you think this is going to do for United States-Italian relations?
Well, it's interesting. We do know that the Italian newspaper Il Giornale, which is owned by Silvio Berlusconi's brother, had an interview with the CIA station chief, former CIA station chief, Seldon Lady, who I would add was born in Tegucigalpa, Honduras, and may be back there under the protection of the Micheletti junta. Now, if that's the case, he'll be very hard to get a hold of. But obviously, Il Giornale knows where he's at. And once again, we have the Berlusconi government getting involved in something that doesn't look like it's on the up and up. Again, at great variance with Italian law. But Mr. Berlusconi doesn't seem to care much about Italian law. And that's why they've reopened a criminal case against him for financial matters. But this just adds to his problems.
And so what happens from here? You mentioned a little bit about the sentencing, but where are these people going to be held?
Well, if they're captured or arrested and turned over to the Italian authorities, they will go to an Italian prison. They do have a right to appeal this verdict, but they'll have to be very careful what airports they hit, because just like Mr. Rumsfeld and some others who are under investigation for war crimes, these individuals will have to be careful that certain jurisdictions they land in don't basically comply with the arrest warrant and apprehend these individuals and turn them over to the Italian authorities.
And do you think these defendants were surprised that the State Department and the United States government kind of didn't step up in their defense? Or, I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, in some cases, these individuals were operating what's known as under official cover as opposed to non-official cover. They were attached to the U.S. Embassy in Rome, the U.S. Consulate General in Milan. They may be somewhat, there was a couple of individuals who complained that the State Department did not do enough to give them immunity. I would note that 3 of the individuals originally charged, their convictions were set aside because of diplomatic immunity. But by and large, many of these individuals are quite upset that the State Department did not step up, or any other agency under whose auspices they were operating on Italian soil.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what, if anything, the Obama administration does from here regarding this program. But for now, Kelly, it's back